Tonight's sleep story invites you to follow a quiet, lantern-lit path high above the sea to an old coastal castle that has softened gently with time. A place that once held formality, vigilance, and expectation, where halls were carefully maintained, gardens shaped precisely, and every room prepared with purpose. But time has changed the castle. Now ivy climbs freely across pale stone walls. Flowers bloom between worn terrace stones. Unused towers rest quietly beneath the moonlight, and open windows welcome cool sea air into candlelit rooms. And as you climb away from the noise of the world below, you may begin to feel something within you softening too, releasing the rigidity of the day and embracing the deep rest waiting for you. Welcome to the Whispering Willow. I'm Diana, and it's my honor to be your guide along tonight's sleepy adventure. Before the story begins, allow yourself to settle gently. There's nowhere you need to hurry toward, nothing you need to solve, nothing you need to hold together tonight. The day is finished, and all that exists is this moment, the here and now, and the steady surface beneath you, supporting you completely. Take a slow, easy breath in and let it go softly, allowing your shoulders to loosen, your jaw to soften, the space around your eyes to grow still. There's nothing expected of you here tonight. No vigilance, no monitoring, no need to remain aware of any unfinished thing. You may simply rest now, little by little, breath by breath. Breathing in the cool, salty air of the ancient coastline, listening to the sound of the waves crashing against the rocky cliffs. Breathing out any remaining tension, anything that feels heavy or tight. Softly drawing your attention back to your body and your breathing and my voice. Anytime your mind begins to wander away from this place and time, or from this quiet place of relaxation, peace, and calm, it's time for the story to begin. You find yourself walking slowly along a narrow coastal path at dusk. The sea stretches far below the cliffs beside you, darkening gently beneath the evening sky. Far overhead, the first stars begin appearing one by one, soft and distant. Lanterns glow along the stone pathway ahead, their warm golden light moving gently in the sea breeze. And somewhere below, you hear the soft, melodic sound of waves meeting the shoreline, steady, endless, calming. Your footsteps are slow and easy. There is nowhere you need to arrive quickly tonight. Only this quiet upward path and the cool sea air surrounding you. As the path slowly rises higher along the cliffs, the world below begins to soften. The lights of the distant shoreline growing smaller now, their reflections trembling faintly against dark water. Voices from far below drift upward briefly, then disappear back into the night air. And little by little, everything begins to feel farther away, softened gently by distance and evening. The pathway curves upward beside flowering stone walls, white jasmine climbing through ivy, moonflowers beginning to open in the cooling air, their pale petals glowing softly beneath the rising moon. Every so often, the path widens into small overlooks built into the cliffs, resting places meant for slowing down, for breathing, for simply watching the sea below. You pause at one of them now, resting your hands lightly against the cool stone railing. Far below, waves crash against the rocky cliffs, then move in slowly against the shoreline. Moonlight drifting across the water in long silver ribbons. The villages below have begun settling into evening. Small lights glowing softly in the distant windows, tiny now from this height, peaceful and familiar. You remain there for a moment, breathing slowly, listening to the wind moving gently along the cliffs, feeling the brisk coastal air caress your face with chilly fingers. And for the first time in a long while, nothing seems close enough to demand anything from you. Not the shoreline below, not the distant lights, not the quiet movement of the world continuing far beneath the cliffs. Everything is softened by distance and night. You take a deep breath, feeling yourself relax into that thought. You continue climbing slowly. The sea breeze cooler now, the silence deeper, the world below no longer asking much of you at all. Barely a whisper now. Somewhere, farther above, you hear the faint sound of water drifting softly through the night air. A fountain flowing somewhere beyond the terrace. And little by little, the higher you climb, the quieter your thoughts become, as though the world itself is slowly loosening its hold on you. And as you round the next corner, you see an old castle resting high above the sea. It appears proud and strong. Its pale stone walls, softened by ivy and moonlight. Several windows glow warmly from within, and high above, Flowers spill gently over the edge of a moonlit terrace. The great wooden doors of the castle stand partially open, welcoming rather than imposing. And as you step inside, warmth settles around you like a gentle embrace. The castle no longer feels formal, though long ago it did. You can still sense traces of it in the tall arched ceilings, the long stone corridors, the careful symmetry of the terraces overlooking the sea. Once, these halls were filled with watchfulness, ceremony, quiet expectations carried carefully from room to room. But time has softened everything here now. Stone hallways are warmed by lantern light. Faded rugs lie on the stone floor beneath your feet. Books rest quietly in forgotten corners, waiting to be found. Open windows, allowing cool sea air to drift softly through the rooms. Nothing appears carefully arranged for display, only comfort, ease, and quiet care. It's as though the castle has relaxed over the centuries, finding itself at peace in this place and time. You notice small signs that someone has prepared for your arrival. A candelabra already lit beside a chair, a folded blanket resting nearby as though waiting for you. Fresh flowers floating quietly in shallow bowls of water. White jasmine, climbing roses, moonflowers opening softly in the night air. There is no one waiting to greet you, yet the castle feels deeply welcoming, as though the house itself already knows you are here and that you belong. Outside the tall windows, far below the cliffs, the distant shoreline glimmers softly beneath the moonlight. But from this height, the world below no longer feels demanding, only distant, softened gently by the sea air and the night. You move slowly through the castle halls, your footsteps soft against worn stone floors. Though you see no one in the halls, they feel peaceful rather than empty. You know you're not alone. Moonlight stretches gracefully across the corridors through tall arched windows, silver blue against pale walls. Along the window sills, small pots of lavender and night-blooming flowers rest beneath the moonlight, their fragrance drifting softly into the air. Curtains move gently in the sea breeze, and somewhere in the distance, you hear the faint sound of water flowing again. You continue moving upward slowly, following winding staircases, worn smooth with time. Each level grows quieter, more peaceful, farther removed from the movement of the world below. The higher you climb, the less there is to hold your attention. Thoughts loosen gently, like knots slowly undone by the patient fingers of time, until finally you reach a small open doorway and step through to a terrace. The terrace opens quietly before you, high above the sea, bathed completely in moonlight. Flowers spill from large weathered stone planters. White roses, climbing jasmine, pale blue hydrangeas, silver green vines drifting gently along old terrace walls. The air here is cool and soft, carrying the fragrance of flowers warmed earlier by the sun. At the center of the terrace, a lovely fountain flows steadily beneath the moonlight. Ancient pale stone, softened by time and sea air. Water spilling gently from one shallow basin into another, creating a slow, layered rhythm, soft, steady, and endless. The fountain does not seem decorative. It feels too old for that, as though it has simply continued flowing quietly through generations, long after the castle stopped trying to impress anyone at all. Moonlight shimmers across the moving water, reflecting softly onto the surrounding stone, while the fountain remains at the center of the terrace, grounding, steady, unchanging. You walk slowly around the fountain now, tracing the curved stone edge lightly with your fingertips, the surface cool beneath your hand, softened by sea air and years of flowing water. Tiny white flowers bloom between the terrace stones nearby, opening silently beneath the moonlight. You pause for a while, watching silver reflections drift across the moving water. The loveliness of the space envelops you. You allow your eyes to follow the slow, quiet patterns, free from thought of anything else. And gradually, the fountain begins to feel less like sound and more like rhythm, constant, predictable, and comforting, as though it were the heartbeat of the castle. The kind of rhythm the body understands instinctively, like breathing or distant rain at night, or waves pressing firmly against the cliffs below. Your shoulders soften further now, your breathing slower, your thoughts more distant. Nothing here requires you to remain alert. Nothing asks you to anticipate or prepare or hold things together. The fountain continues flowing whether you watch it or not. The sea continues moving below the cliffs. The stars remain overhead, steady and calm. And little by little, it becomes easier to let the world continue on its own for a while. From this height, the world below no longer feels overwhelming. Only quiet now, small and softened in the distance. Nothing here asks anything of you tonight. There is only rest, stillness. This peaceful terrace, suspended gently above the sleeping world below. Eventually, you notice a smaller staircase tucked quietly in one corner of the terrace, partially hidden beneath climbing vines and moonflowers. You follow it upward slowly until you arrive at a small stone balcony overlooking the sea. The balcony feels almost suspended above the night itself, open to stars, wind, and the endless dark water below. A cushioned chair rests nearby, already prepared beneath a softly folded blanket. Another quiet kindness waiting for you, welcoming you. You sit and rest for a while, watching moonlight drift across the water far below, wrapped securely in the blanket. The cool sea air, a pleasant contrast on your face. From this height, the shoreline appears peaceful now. Tiny lanterns glowing in the distance, small roads winding quietly through sleeping villages. Like the delicate painted streets of a child's toy, everything softened by space and darkness. Nothing appears hurried from here. Nothing feels strained or unfinished. Life continuing softly below without you needing to tend to it. You bask in the relief of that for just a while. The breeze moves gently through the flowers climbing along the balcony walls. You breathe deeply and smell jasmine, white roses, soft lavender swaying gently in the moonlight. And somewhere behind you, the terrace fountain continues its steady heartbeat, water flowing endlessly from one basin into another. The sound mingles softly with distant waves below until it becomes difficult to separate one from the other. Sea, fountain, wind, breathing, all moving together now, slowly, peacefully. You remain here as long as you wish, allowing the height, the distance, and the stillness to blur every remaining corner of the day. Eventually, you notice light peeking through the partially open terrace doors nearby. Inside, a bathing room waits. warm and softly illuminated by candlelight. Steam curls gently upward from a deep stone bath already prepared for you. The water reflects flickering candlelight across pale walls. Fragrant petals floating along its surface. Fresh towels rest nearby, thick and warm, and folded carefully at the end of a chair, a set of soft, embroidered pajamas. Fine cotton with silver stitching along the cuffs. Simple, comfortable, quietly beautiful. Still you have seen no one in this castle, yet every detail feels thoughtfully prepared and customized, as though someone wished only for you to feel cared for here tonight. You step slowly into the warm bath and immediately feel your body soften. The warmth surrounding tired muscles, releasing tension you no longer need to carry. Outside the open windows, you continue hearing the fountain flowing softly on the terrace, blending with distant waves below the cliffs. The sound surrounds you gently, steady, peaceful, timeless, and high above the shoreline below, immersed in the feeling of hot water and gentle care. It becomes easier now to let the world go and continue on its own for a little while, accepting that nothing requires your attention tonight. Nothing needs to be held together. You remain in the bath as long as you wish, allowing warmth, water, and stillness to quiet every remaining edge of the day. Later, wrapped in the plush embroidered fabric of pajamas, you follow the lantern light into a quiet room prepared for rest. Tall windows stand open to the sea air, white curtains drifting gently in the night breeze. A large bed waits nearby. Soft linens turned down. Moonlight resting quietly across the blankets. Beside the bed, a tray of tea still releases faint curls of steam. Chamomile, lavender, and something warm beneath it. Perhaps honey or vanilla. You sit quietly for a moment, holding the warmth of the cup beneath your hands, listening to the now comforting sound of the distant fountain beyond the open terrace. The entire castle feels at rest now. No voices, no movement, Only lantern light, sea air, flowers blooming quietly in the distance, their sweet fragrance drifting in through the open windows, and water continuing its endless, gentle song. Outside the windows, far below the cliffs, small lights shimmer along the shoreline, tiny now from this height, the world continuing softly below you, needing nothing from you. The room grows quieter as the evening deepens. Moonlight resting softly across the blankets, the curtains continuing their gentle movement in the sea breeze. Beyond the open windows, the fountain still flows steadily on the terrace. Its rhythm softer now, more distant, yet somehow even more calming. You settle deeper into the bed, feeling the softness beneath you, the warmth of the blankets surrounding you completely. Everything here seems designed for rest. No more is the castle concerned with luxury, duty, or grandeur. Now it only exists for peace, comfort, kind care for those who need it. The unseen caretaker of this quiet castle has asked nothing of you, expected nothing, and there is something deeply comforting in that. Being cared for without needing to perform, to ask or explain, without needing to earn. Outside, the sea continues its endless movement below the cliffs, steady, unchanging. The shoreline lights glowing faintly in the distance now, small and dreamlike beneath the stars. From this height, the world no longer feels overwhelming. Softened by moonlight, distance, and sleepiness. Your eyes grow heavy. Your breathing slows further. Easy in, easy out, matching the quiet rhythm of the fountain beyond the terrace. The tide along the cliffs below. And as your body grows heavier, more relaxed, more deeply settled, everything begins dissolving gently into softness. The castle, the sea, the flowers, the moonlight on the stone, all drifting together now into quiet rest. Your thoughts begin melting together now too, loosening softly like petals carried on quiet water. The castle resting peacefully above the sea, holding you securely, safely, peacefully. The moonlit terrace, the flowers moving gently in the night air, the fountain continuing its soft, endless rhythm, water flowing, waves below, breathing slowly. Everything softens together. Nothing rushing, nothing unfinished, nothing to be carried tonight. Only this peaceful castle above the sea. Moonlight, stillness, peace. And as the fountain continues singing quietly into the night, your body drifts further and further down, sinking into the surface beneath you, feeling heavy, feeling safe, feeling peaceful and cared for. The sea below grows even softer now. The lanterns dim gently. The castle lies quietly beneath the stars. And somewhere nearby, flowers continue blooming silently in the moonlight, unfolding softly through the quiet hours of the night. And you may rest now, fully, deeply, high above the sleeping shoreline, with the fountain still flowing softly beneath the moonlight. Everything continues peacefully below, while you drift gently into blissful, dream-filled sleep. Good night.